But I watched your documentary that you made a long time ago about your mom, your family.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, I just want to say that it's so real and so raw. I just think that you are so courageous for putting that out there. And you just said that you were like the only thing that your mom was attached to, right? I think I can totally see that in your documentary, especially the last 2 minutes. You guys were in a tram or something.
Yeah.
But just the way she looked at the camera and look at you, just it's just love.
I know. Yeah.
Right? So when I saw the last few minutes, I was like, I almost broke down. I was like, oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow,
so
you're
beautiful.
a strong person. Most people break down.
Oh, so I didn't. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I'll get you next
You're
time.
cold.
I'll get you next time.
Just like, yeah, I just think that you're so brave for sharing the story with the world, like how your mom has mental illness and how your upbringing was like,
It's hard. But what was it like to stay in a garage?
Yeah.
Undocumented for 7 years with your grandma and mom?
In your uncle's garage? What was it like?
It's not enough space for that many personalities. She has 7 people talking to her. So yeah, I guess, it is it's crowded.
Yeah.
It's really crowded.
But I just thought that when you say living in a garage, I thought you meant it as a joke, but I thought your uncle would let you guys in the house or something. Just like, did you guys really only stay in the garage?
Yeah, I mean, we would sometimes have dinners in the front house together.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would have church friends over.
Oh, I see.
We would go to the front house in the living room and we would watch TV together and things like that. So it wasn't like Cinderella, It wasn't like,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't like just
It's not
dim,
like Harry Potter.
No lights. Yeah, Harry Potter just waiting for an owl to tell me, this has been a lie, maybe I was waiting for Hollywood to call, maybe I've seen you singing in your garage, this is your moment. You will be famous or whatever. It wasn't so sad because I think, being undocumented, I didn't even know I was undocumented until I wanted to drive. And I asked my grandma, I said, hey, all my friends are starting to drive. Can I try to go get my driver's license? And she was like, oh, you can't because you don't have a social security number. You're not, you're not properly ID'd in America.
But you could still go to school and doing everything else.
Yeah, so America allows for a lot of things, even if you don't have the right papers. And which is cool. I think, even undocumented immigrants, I think they're Americans. They're still Americans, just with no papers.
Yeah.
You could go to public school up until college. You could take the bus, the trains, you can go to stores, you can go to the library.
Yeah.
You can go to the mall. You can do a lot of things, just not vote and own a gun. And I didn't really have interest in that, So I didn't really feel so outside. Well, I did feel outside, but I didn't know why, And I think that's just like a undertone of maybe why. Because I didn't know those facts, but I just knew something was off about our family. I mean, there was a lot off. So yeah.
But did they tell you that, you need to try to avoid troubles, otherwise you might get caught, we might all be sent back to
Japan or
Taiwan. We don't know.
Yeah, there was some hints that my grandma would, I got enrolled in Japanese school. So every Saturday we would go to, it's like cram school, right? Extra class.
That's interesting. They send you to Japanese school. I thought they would send you to Chinese school.
Schools.
There is Chinese school. You could choose one Chinese or Japanese school.
Yeah, but they send you to Japanese school.
Yeah, I think to try to continue so that I can continue speaking Japanese. I wonder why. I wonder if that's why.
Yeah, because both of them speaks Mandarin, right? Your grandma and your mom.
Yeah.
So they still send you to Japanese school. I just think that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I know. Or else I could do this interview in Mandarin, right? That would be nice if they did that. But
no, I don't think so. The Japanese school helped?
No.
I know, right?
So this is where I was going. The Japanese school I went to was a really bad one because that's the one I could go to because I didn't have papers.
Oh.
The other one, the really good Japanese school, is from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Oh,
you know,
the strict one.
with good lunch and great teachers, and your Japanese gets really good if you go there. I couldn't go to that one. And that was closer to where we were living too.
Oh.
We could get there in 2 minutes walking, right?
But that one is more expensive.
But every day every week, we would pass that school. Oh, goodbye. And then we have to walk to the one 30 minutes away.
Oh my
the
God.
bad school where my Japanese got worse. Only 3 hours of learning, but not really learning. We just play. We did origami. We would watch TV, you know, and that's because I didn't have papers. And you know, and I begged to go to the better school. I said, why can't I go to that one? She said, can I at least go attend classes? And she said, no, it's really best if you just keep going to the other school and try not to even show yourself there. You know, don't talk about how you can't go, you know. So stuff like that maybe as a kid I didn't really know, but it's probably because of legal reasons, right? Yeah.
Wow.
But do you feel like they should have told you a little more straightforward so you could understand, or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, everything. You should always tell your kids things. You should never keep secrets if you can. You know, because learning later that they were lying, sometimes it's way harder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but when you first moved to the States, like when you first go into school, like was there culture shock? Like what was it like? Because you didn't really speak English, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You were learning Japanese
and you were learning
in the weekend.
and you were pretty much learning Mandarin and English at the same time. What was school like for you? Like how did you fit in?
Yeah, school was a lot because I was still in shock about staying in America too.
You were not prepared, right?
Yeah. So, you know, it was hard to find the motivation to try because you go, okay, hi, like I'm here to learn, but maybe I won't learn so hard because, you know, I'm going back to Japan.
Yeah,
in
and
like
you don't
1
even
month.
know when your grandma is gonna kidnap you next, right?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. Yeah, maybe next month I'm living in Korea. I don't know. I don't know what is going on. So, you know, it's not like I think and I didn't know the language, so it was hard for me to make friends anyway. I was very quiet. I was a shy kid. It was hard in that, you know, I was just so confused. I was so confused. And then when I did realize I was staying longer, I was embarrassed to make too many friends because, you know, when you're kids, you go to each other's house to play.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And I didn't want to show them how we were living. Yeah. And so it took a long time. Yeah. It took a long time for me to start feeling comfortable in the United States. Yeah.
But then in high school, you joined a cheerleading squad, right?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Your cheerleading squad sounds really badass. Like
They were so cool. Yeah, they were so cool. Maybe too cool, too fast. I went from being so shy,
like
having no friends,
super cool, like,
to all
cheerleading
my friends get in fights. I was like, where was the middle ground, you know? Like,
There's no middle ground.
Suddenly they were fighting people, protecting each other through physical fighting, you know?
like cheerleaders.
Yes,
Yeah,
these
pulling
were
each other's hair and stuff.
getting abortions during lunch, during school break, like lunch break.
Like for real.
They would go, one of them got an abortion, came back and finished the last class.
That's really badass.
So wild.
Oh my God.
These were my new friends suddenly. And so I still felt like a little bit of an outsider hanging out with them because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so square. Like I'm so innocent compared to you, you know? Yeah, that was
But
too
like,
big
they
of a
still
jump.
treat you like one of them, right? Like, or
yeah. Yeah, they would invite me to things. They would invite me to fights, you know. We're going to fight. We're going to fight the flag team.
Did you join them?
I would just watch. I would hold their things.
And be cheerleaders?
Yeah. And you can do it. I'm not a fighter. I didn't, you know, but I'd be on the side, be like, go, Juanita. Yeah, you get them. Yes, that was me. But holding their bag or earrings. Yeah. Yeah, that was
so
me.
Cool. Wow.
But
Yeah.
was that the time you started to feel like, okay, you are really American part of the society or community?
I think so. It was when I realized, okay, this is what it's like to have each other's back. You know, maybe I'll find it in a different group. Maybe this was too much for me. suddenly. So, I got to at least experience it, At first I thought it was church, but then I realized, oh, that's also not my personality, and maybe
A physical fight?
that was also not my personality. So it took a while sometimes it takes time to find your personality. At first, whatever is convenient, you say, oh, maybe this is my personality because it's easy. It's right here. And you guys are already accepting me. But to really be able to be yourself in a situation, in a community, that takes longer, Yeah.